Yo, welcome to kidsquidstudios, where it all comes together. I'm Kelly, and today we're going to put together a YouTubing kit for under $150, which is really, really cheap. So I keep seeing brand new YouTubers start their very first video with unboxing like a $3,000 camera and starting to learn how to shoot video and how to vlog and do all this stuff with a $3,000 camera being the first thing they did and bought. And then a $500 Manfrotto tripod and a $200 microphone. And the list goes on and on and on. I mean, damn, they just go through the money. And after about 12 videos, they realize they don't want to do YouTubing anymore, and they've got all this really expensive equipment. So which is why I say start with a cheap setup that is actually functioning. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put together a functioning YouTubing kit for under $150 right now. So please like this video so that way I know if you want me to make more of them like this, and subscribe, ring the bell so that way you get every video as we post them. Okay, first off, the most expensive and most important thing you already own. Your heart? No, man, your cell phone. Your cell phone. No, but seriously, cell phones these days are really competitive with professional cameras and really expensive cameras. So getting a flagship phone, or most of you already have a pretty decent phone, even if it's not the most current flagship phone. Most people own a decent phone with really great cameras in it. So, bam, you've got your camera. But now we need to put the camera on a mount so that way we can put it on a tripod instead of always, setting it on things. And that being said, know that all cell phone mounts are not created equal. I'm telling you that right now. An experience with, good company tripods, just flinging your phone all over the place. You think it's holding it, you think it's doing its thing, and it just, bing, gone. But not this $15 knockoff brand, what is it called? Octo Mounts. A company called Octomounts made this. And it's just a no-name company out on Amazon somewhere. But the link's down below so that you can get one of these. This thing has lasted so many years. I use it all the time. I'm using it right now on the other phone. What it does is it has removable parts here. So like the bottom mount, it comes off and you can make the mount way more flush with the camera, or have this extension on there. So it's got really exaggerated lips here and concave, and it screw locks as opposed to pressure locking, like where you ring and the spring pulls it back down. This, you tighten it down onto the phone, pretty much, like a vise. So one of the big issues that you're going to see with phone mounts like these is the fact that most of them don't open up as wide as you would want. So if you've got a large phone, or if you've got a large phone case, it will not fit around it at all. Whereas this thing opens up so wide, it even opens up wider than this phone. I'll put a clip right here of my friend's just regular iPhone next to mine. Yeah, okay, this phone is huge. And then when you put the phone in the case, it's even bigger. Like, it's a big phone, and it perfectly slides in here. There's tons of space. Okay, so you just turn this little knob here, and it locks it down like a vise every time. And you can't pull it out by twisting it. Those lips hold it right in place. This thing is an absolute lifesaver. And then on the top, it also has a cold foot and another mount so that you can mount something behind the cold foot if you wanted. So now we've got a camera and a mount. Now we're going to put this mount on a tripod. This is another place where people spend way too much money that they do not need to. I brought a couple of tripods out here. This is a $10 DigiPower piece of crap. Like, I got this 6 years ago now. I still use it. Okay? It's holding up fine. $10. This bigger one, this Vanguard, here, I'll lower this. Okay, it comes up to my chin level. But I'll lower it. Yard sale for like $15. You do not need to spend $50 even much less 100, 2, 5. No, you do not need to spend money on tripods, okay? $25 right here. $25 for both tripods, which both get pretty small, and this one gets really tall and is extremely stable. So once again, links to this blue tripod are in the description. Investing a bunch of money in tripods to start YouTubing really wouldn't be the way I would go. I would invest more in a good GorillaPod. Not these little tiny GorillaPods like this, okay? I got a bunch of these at first and was like, oh yay, GorillaPods. And I mean, they're kind of useful. If you have a little tiny GoPro and you want to go running and just have a tiny thing to hold a GoPro and go running and then be able to put it in a fence and talk to the GoPro for a hot second or whatever, okay? Like, other than that, I mean, pretty freaking useless. And there's a larger GorillaPod that's like this tall, and it's kind of overkill for what a GorillaPod's supposed to be. You know, you don't want to be using it as a regular tripod. Get a tripod, a cheap tripod that you can just use. GorillaPods like this is like a Swiss Army knife. This is the 3K. It's got a quick release mount, which means this plate comes off and you can attach your camera, any camera, to it. So that way you can throw it in here and be doing a shoot. And if like you don't want to move your tripod at all, you hold this, you take this off, and look at the footage and then be like, oh, okay, that's perfect. I need to react it, but move, you know, in a different way, and then you can click that right back in there without losing the tripod. Very, very handy.
No.
Okay, so that's a good example of why you'd like to have this quick release paddle right here. So that way when something like that happens and the camera fails, you can reshoot the scene without having to reset your tripod. You just re-record, and obviously, as you see, I forgot to hit record before I turned it sideways, and that's not helpful either. So this time I get to do it without having to reset the tripod. It's still up there. And it's also got this tension controlled ball joint, which is really nice, especially with this or but on anything, to be able to twist the angle or to turn it even, because it can go full sideways like that. Really convenient to have that option in a small little package. One last feature that I love about this is that the bottom has this removable threading. You know, grab another piece. So that way, if the tripod you're trying to put this on has an extremely large end, as opposed to this like normal small end, if it's got a big one like that, now you can still use your camera on that tripod, as opposed to being restricted from using them because your tripod mount doesn't have a large hole, it only has a tiny hole. Whereas now you've got both. I know I'm going on and on about this mount. I love these. Quick release plate, little mounts with the balls and the tension things. I love them. I think I've got like 2 or 3 different kinds. But one of the other benefits of getting this in the package with the Joby GorillaPod is the fact that now you can take this off and put it on another tripod, okay? And you can use this as its own tripod and have a quick release plate on that guy. Double trouble. And if you order a second quick release plate, you can put the quick release plate on all of your tripods and be able to just move the camera from plate to plate to plate. But we're keeping it under $150, so just one of these with one of those, and more than plenty. And we're still staying under $150. Okay, and this being the Swiss Army knife it does so many things. You get a low angle by putting it on the ground and getting an angle on the scene really well. Or obviously you can set it on the table like this, and these extra lengths kind of raise it to the appropriate level to actually do a decent frame for a vlog or YouTubing in general, or just taking video of yourself, whatever, as opposed to it being down here and it being that terrible up angle when you're trying to talk to the camera. So now that we've gotten this far, we've got the camera, we've got the mount, we've got the quick release plate mount that also allows you to turn and adjust it sideways, separate from the ball joint mount thing going on. I love them, I know. It's like, then when you're running around, you can actually take these, roll them under like this, and boom, you've got like a selfie stick-esque thing. That's not quite a selfie stick, but you've got like a nice angle out there where you can talk to it and run around and do a thing, then walk up to a car or whatever and open this up, set it down, and start talking to the camera. Okay, and speaking of talking to the camera, you want to up your audio game kind of right away. And I didn't really do this till way later. I should have. It's one of the things that I should have paid attention to. But after messing with a bunch of the microphones that are out on the market, I kind of came right back to the first one that I had gotten. It kicks ass, honestly. It is one of the best constructed ones of the cheap microphones under like $200. Obviously, when you get up to that price, then they start making it really, really well. But the ones between there and this are all like plasticky and weird. And this is all metal, okay? Even the little screens here are all metal, whereas the casing and the screens on the more expensive ones are all plasticky. And when it comes to the signal was all kind of choppy. I don't know if it's because it was a cell phone or whatever, but this microphone works very well with cell phones. And it comes with this shock mount, obviously. And you put it on there, and then you're gonna slide it to the front, so that way the dead cat doesn't make it droop down over the camera. And it comes with the dead cat. Put it on your cold foot, which is why the F-mount coming with that cold foot is very, very convenient. Lock it down, okay? And now we're just left with the cabling. Sorry, I never told you the name of it. The Rode Video Micro. That's ridiculously cheap. The only thing that works better than that is an actual like condenser microphone hanging in the scene, connected to an input device going into Pro Tools. Like that's the only thing that does better for me. And there's a kind of an issue with the cabling. The cable it comes with is going to have two black ends like this, and each end has two little black lines on it. Okay, and that's normal, and like, who cares? It's just a cable, dude, just connect them. Well, issue is you need a different cable to connect this microphone to any cell phone. This cable is made to go from a microphone to an actual camera, like a professional camera, like a Sony or a Canon or something, or a Nikon or something like that. Rode does sell a solution to this problem, which is this TRS to TRRS. It's called the SC7 cable. The important thing to know here is that the ends are black and gray, the black one being just like the other cable with two little black lines, and then the gray one having three, which is what would be necessary for cell phones. So while this does fix the problem when using the Rode microphone with cell phones, they didn't design it for cell phones. What I mean by that is typically on an end that's designed for a cell phone, the little prong is on a smaller, thinner piece of plastic that sticks out, so that way it can go into the case. Whereas this is designed like it's not, so it can't go through your cell phone case, which means that you need to remove the cell phone from its case every time you want to use your Rode microphone. So once again, the links to this are in the description below, as well as the cable that I do recommend. It's a little adapter that is designed to go into the cell phone, okay, with the three lines on it. So it's the TRRS, not the TRS, okay, male with the TRS female. Boom. So now that original cable that it came with can be used. Instead of having to buy an extra cable, now with this adapter, you're able to use the original cable. I wish I had known that before I had gotten the Rode cable. But you live and learn. Obviously, at this point, that means that any two-lined cable here, any TRS to TRS, can be used. And you're like, Kelly, what does that matter? Who cares? The reason you should care is because now I can use any cable that you would use on a radio or your cell phone or any speaker system to connect it manually versus Bluetooth, okay? And you connect into here, and now I can take the microphone off. Now I can be across the room from this camera and be able to extend the microphone all of this length with just some regular cheap cable from Walmart, okay? And it will do the job where I can be all the way across the room and it will hear me as if I'm right next to the camera, which is super convenient, without having to need a lanyard and an extra audio recorder in the whole 9 yards. This setup with these couple of tripods, this gives you the broadest array of use of your camera. And the camera itself, being a cell phone, also gives you the broadest array of uses of a camera. Most cell phones have all kinds of bells and whistles and craziness that you can use and get to use. Get on, dear. So, there we go, Monsieurs and Monsignoritas. We've got a YouTubing, general videography, photography setup for under $150. Like I said before, all the links, blah, blah, blah. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. We'll see you next time right here at Kids Squid Studios. So stay safe, keep creative.